Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So we are literally just weeks away from BT6 release. Yes, less than a month already. So you know what that means. It's time to start looking ahead. And honestly, BT6 is probably the most diverse meta that we've ever seen in this game. No more is there like this really tier 0 deck and all the others are just trying to compete with this one. No, it's so spread out. Really, anything is possible moving ahead with all these great new cards for all these different colors. So I'm super excited. We're going to go over the top 5 of the newest decks for BT6. And this is just my personal opinion of the best 5 that I could think of that are going to be brand new. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget, our memory marker this month is Gigimon. So if you're going to be playing some Jesmon or any other kind of red deck, I mean, really even a Three Musketeers deck, this would be a great memory marker. And we're going to be in this format for a good bit, so I think it's a pretty solid investment. I love this little guy. He's got so much detail, the tail, the wings. We're still going to paint the face on. We just haven't got there quite yet. The little legs there, so adorable. This is our Patreon, again, for September. So we're already halfway through September. So if you want one of these guys, make sure you get in there and get into Patreon and go ahead and support us. Okay, so these decks here aren't really in any particular order overall. These are just kind of really each color has their own thing going, which is really nice. Now, red does have 2 decks, but most of the other ones are all kind of one-ofs here. So just jumping in right at the top here with red, we have Jesmon as the first new deck of BT6, and it is a dominating one for sure. This is doing a lot of stuff that red used to do, but it's got some new tools to really help it along. So first of all, he gives himself piercing, and that was one of the things that's always held red back, was you had to do these like really kind of finagly combos like Shoutmon DX to put something like the piercing inheritable level 6 underneath him to give yourself piercing. You know, it wasn't ideal, and we've never really had any other way to do piercing reliably. But now Jesmon can just give himself piercing, which is really great. Now, I will say we lack a little bit of the OTK power in this form of red, but the trade-off is really, really nice in just being able to flood the board. So, like Jesmon's ability when attacking, you get to play a free Digimon. It is a Sistermon. You get to play a free Digimon from your hand, and really nice on-play effects with those guys. We've got stuff like the level 5 in the evolution line, which lets you unsuspend this Digimon. So he gets to play basically what you need, the qualification to unsuspend the Sistermon here. You get to just play it for free. So you don't have to require all this setup. Okay, let me get a Sistermon out on field already. Now let me go and Digivolve up into my Mega, and now I get a swing. No. You just get to do all that immediately for free. So he just sets his own board up for himself, which is just absolutely nuts. Also, you get to play a Sistermon when Digivolving into your level 5 here. So not only do you get the free play one here, but also from the Jesmon itself. So that's 2 Digimon that you get to play for free. So kind of balances out the fact that we may not have quite the security plus punching power that we used to have, but it's still, you get to flood the board, as well as we got some other great stuff going on here, and that's that this inheritable here, again, if you have a Sistermon in play, which you should by all these different ways of playing them for free, you get to pop a 5k or less. So all those one-cost Evo level 5s, you know, the ones that people were kind of iffy on in BT5 just because of stuff like Lord Nightmon was always popping them so easy. You know, minus 4,000 and then another minus 1,000 and boom, they were gone. Well, now you have even more things to worry about killing off your 5,000 DP ones. And with Jesmon being pretty prominent in the Japanese meta, even now all the way into BT7, Jesmon is still being played a fair amount. Those 5,000 DP blockers, you might want to consider possibly playing something else, going back to maybe the 2-cost Evo blockers if you really want a blocker. So yeah, just crazy power here. So we're doing piercing, we're popping stuff, so we're getting that really nice board control. We've got all these free play of all these extra bodies on field. Yeah, we're doing some really, really nice things in this. Also, they have a unbelievable rookie. So this is really going back to like the old Ragnar Lordmon days. So on play, reveal 5 cards from your deck, and you get to add 2 Digimon cards with the following restrictions: a Huckmon, a Jessmon, or Sistermon in their name. Dang. So usually it was just between 2 different Digimon, right? It was either, your 1 Mega or one of your evolution lines. Now they're like, man, you just take whatever. You can take anything, including another copy of himself. You can take all, the megas that you need, or any of the free play sister mons that you need. He's just so versatile in this deck. You will always be grabbing something with Huckmon, because your whole deck pretty much meets the criteria for this guy just about. So, yeah, he's so good. He's such an awesome searcher for this whole strategy. And then, you can always still use the closeout Omnimon. So Omnimon a blitz to win you games. So clear the field, or clear your opponent's security with Jessmon, and then boom, swing for game. Yeah, just great deck for sure. Jessmon going to be super exciting. All right, next up, we've got Bond of Bravery, or Bond of Courage, depending on how you want to look at it. Agumon. So this is the next red deck. So red deck got two different ways to play red this format that are both extremely good. Just going back and looking at the Japanese meta, these guys really bounced around. At first, you didn't really see a whole lot of the Bonds Agumon, and then all of a sudden people just like, wait a minute, we know how to play this deck now, and it jumped up. I'd say about week 3 of their meta, it just really started climbing the ladder and being just as popular as all the other decks. So what's so great about this, right? If you guys aren't aware yet, going into this format, we've got these awesome tamers here in Matt and Tai. So the Tai one works for red, and how it works is main, once per turn, digivolve your Agumon into 1 Agumon Bond of Bravery in your hand for its digivolution cost, ignoring its level. If you do, trash the top 2 cards in your security stack. Then if you have 1 or more security cards, delete that Digimon at the end of the turn. So this guy is basically, you get to go from a level 3, a rookie, all the way into a level 7. Yes, you get to go all the way up into a level 7 instantly for 3 Evo costs. It's not even like the normal 4 Evo costs that we see when we jump, doing kind of warp digivolving stuff. No, it's still super cheap. So with a memory fixer on field, I mean, you can literally just promote that rookie out of raising area, immediately go into this guy and start swinging. Also, more control with red, which is really, really neat. Built into their Digimon, not just through option cards. When attacking, if you have a tamer, which you probably will if you're playing this deck, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 13,000 DP or less. That is all level 6s. Even Nidhoggmon, who often would skate by a little bit just because he had that nice 13,000, even he is going to be included in this. What a delete. So when attacking, just if he ever stays on field, if for whatever reason, if he just sits there because you've got no security and you get to just keep swinging with him turn after turn and keep popping huge things, that's going to feel so good. Also, your turn, once per turn, when one of your opponent's Digimon are deleted, which he can just do, trash 1 card from the top of your opponent's security stack. Awesome. Security control is popular, okay? It's good in every format that it's been around in, okay? It's just a really generic deck that just kind of excels no matter what the structured decks are in the meta. It just kind of can sit there and kind of compete against all of them, because it doesn't matter how your opponent's decks change, you're still just going to keep doing the same stuff with security control. So this is a really kind of neat counter for security control, just being able to trash a card, and then because you're going to do that when attacking, right? So you're going to delete something and then trash a card, and then your punch is going to go through. So that's really great. And he combos with the new Agumon here, which gives him security attack +1. So this is the inheritable and only applies to Bond of Courage. So really great stuff there. So that's really it for the deck. I mean, there's of course more to it, more ways you can add on to the deck. I'm working on a build right now for you guys. It's Bond of Bravery with Ancient Greymon, which you never really saw in the Japanese meta at all. I couldn't find any decks combining the two, so I thought I would just do it for fun. We see it with Blue, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but they combine the Bonds Gabumon with Ancient Garurumon, so I thought we'd kind of do the same just for kicks with the Agumon here. And yeah, I think it's just really, really powerful, really fast. And that's what's really nice about these new decks, is that you need to be able to win really fast, and that's what these new decks are really excelling at. All right, next up we've got, of course, we've got to go straight into him here. Gabumon Bond of Friendship. This is the other counterpart, the other Bonds deck that we're going to be discussing. It's doing basically the same thing. We're playing the Mat Tamer, which is going to let us go from any Gabumon, okay, same with the Agumon. It's any of these rookies with that name, and they can immediately go into this for just the Evo cost. So this guy, when attacking once per turn, if you have a Tamer in play, unsuspend this Digimon. So that's going to, right there, that tells you, all right, we get 2 swings out of this guy. Awesome. Step 1, 2 swings. Cool. 14,000 DP. Love it. Also, when attacking, return one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon to the bottom of their deck. Trash all of the Digivolution cards of that Digimon. So blockers, goodbye. If there's ever a blocker in your way, you just swing with this guy. Also, that effect's not once per turn. Yeah. So how awesome is that? So you get 2 swings out of this guy, potentially 3, which we'll go over. And every time you swing, you get to bounce a card. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Whoa, a level 5 or below. So blockers, I mean, this is basically applicable against almost every single deck in the meta. I think that one of the only things that barely gets by is just security control and maybe a little bit of Musketeers, and that's it. Dang, what a powerful effect. So you ask, well, how do you get a 3rd attack off? Well, we got a new Gabumon that we can use, which is this one right here with the inheritable of when attacking once per turn. If this Digimon is Gabumon Bond of Friendship, you may unsuspend this Digimon. Boom, right there. 3 attacks. Dang. Okay, so we've got Bond of Bravery up here, who's essentially also clearing 3 security, if you want to look at it that way. He gets the free one when it deletes something, as well as you're going to get the 1 security check off himself, and then the additional 1 off of the Agumon here, giving him security attack +1. So, again, clearing 3 security. However, that's not necessarily the same as getting 3 attacks. Getting 3 attacks means you can apply this. You can just keep attacking different things. If your opponent has a full field of 6 Digimon, you can potentially clear all 6 of those. You keep swinging into the suspended ones, and then you keep bouncing all the other ones that are unsuspended with his effect. You can clear a field with essentially 3 memory. Yeah, that is brutal. Or you can just swing for face over and over and over and over. What's really cool about this deck, though, is it can combine with the Ancient Garurumon. So we saw back in BT4, right, we had the Lobomon promo that could go into the Ancient Garurumon. Ancient Garurumon could swing twice. What you do, though, is you swing once with Ancient Garurumon, he unsuspends himself, then just Digivolve into the Bond of Friendship here, and then start swinging again. And if that Lobomon went on top of this Gabumon, essentially now you're looking at 4 swings with this guy. So the 1 Ancient Garurumon swing, and then the 3 that we talked about with the Bond of Friendship. That's what makes this deck terrifying. You don't even need to play any level 5s. Again, you're just skipping all the way up into these level 6s and level 7s. This is a ferocious deck. This deck has been sitting, I would say, just barely in the number 1 spot of the Japanese meta for like 2-3 sets now. Even when it kind of falls down a little bit, it's still at least a quarter of the meta all by itself. It literally takes everything else to just compete with the amount of plays that this guy gets. Tops, I should say. First place. It takes about 25% of all the first place tournaments every single week, and it's done that for like 3 sets now. So, yeah, this guy is ferocious. Okay, so the Bonds deck, I'm actually going to kind of be a little cheeky and combine those as one deck on this top 5 list. That's just because I have a 6 deck that I just want to talk about. So the Bonds, we'll count those as one deck on this slot, even though they're completely different. But top 5 just sounds better than top 6. Anyways, next up we got Yellow here, and we got Dynasmon, and this guy is beastly. This thing is absurdly good. Unfortunately, Yellow just did not do as well in the formats moving ahead after this. It was kind of odd because it's dominated since 1.5. Since Shine Greymon came out, Yellow has been like right there, number 1 spot, just format after format. So it is kind of nice to see it kind of fall down a little bit. It does still get tops though, using Dynasmon here, and that's because this guy's effect is just so gnarly. So when Digivolving, you may trash the top card of your security stack to reveal the top 6 cards of your deck. Add up to 2 level 6 or lower Digimon cards from among them to your hand. That's it. No color stipulation, no nothing. Just level 6 or below. Anything you want. Wow. Okay, that's absurdly good. Awesome. Then trash the remaining cards. Okay, that's a little unfortunate, sort of. And I'll cover why sort of in just a little bit. Normally, we're always putting to the bottom of the deck when we do stuff like that. 6 cards is a hefty chunk to just, your deck is going to shrink. If you evolve a couple of these guys in a game, that's pretty brutal. Okay, they can kind of be a little detrimental when you start evoing multiple Dynasmons in one game. Also, though, that's not what makes this guy insane. All turns, once per turn, when a card is removed from your security stack, if you have 3 or fewer cards, recovery +1. So if you're at 4 security when you evo into this guy, he's gonna trash 1 and put you down to 3, and then immediately recover 1 back. How great is that? Also, that's as long as he's on the field every turn, you can Blinding Ray essentially for free. So you just keep doing all these things that are trashing security while Dynasmon's on field, and it just recovers instantly. So you basically get to play all these crazy abilities absolutely free. So Dynasmon, absolutely absurd. So, and then all turns too. So if your opponent swings into you, if you're at 4 security, they've got to kind of, if they're going for game, they got to kind of treat that as 5 security, or whatever it is. Even if you're at 1 security, they got to kind of look at it as you're sitting on 2 security if Dynasmon's sitting there, because you're gonna get that recovery back. That's really awesome. And if you have multiple Dynasmons on field, wow, that's pretty great. Now I will say you can't, if you're at 3, right, and you have 2 Dynasmons, you can't go up to 5. Okay, they don't apply at the same time. The first one will trigger, right, putting you at 4, and then you go onto the second one, and the second one you're no longer applicable to activate that. So that is an official ruling. You cannot stack multiple Dynasmons at once to go up super high, because that would be crazy. Could you imagine being at 4 security, having 4 Dynasmons on field, go Blinding Ray, and then go down to 3, and then jump to 7? Yikes, that would be gnarly. Thank God it doesn't work that way. Now, though, what does this guy really combo with, right? So, crazy enough, Dynasmon wasn't really used with Lord Nightmon, even though literally in lots of the card art, they're side by side. And then even if you've seen the original show, they're tag teaming together. You don't actually run them together. Mastemon combos great with this guy. So think about Mastemon, because you're going to bring out Dynasmon first, and then bring out the Mastemon. Mastemon's going to trash one of your security. Dynasmon's just going to let you recover that right back, and then you get to trash one of your opponent's security. Also, remember when you Digivolved and you trashed all those cards off of the Dynasmon effect, filling up your trash? Yeah, you made your Mastemon super live and have a nice selection to choose from. So you see kind of really how this deck starts to come together. Dynasmon with Mastemon, super cool deck. Also, just tons of new tools for Yellow to use that really works well with this. Looking at Tapirmon, when you remove a card from your security stack, draw 1. Awesome. We got Wizardmon here. When a card is removed from your security stack, gain 1 memory. So this Dynasmon basically becomes a 3 Evo when Wizardmon is live. So if he's in your inheritables for Dynasmon or whatever, you can basically make your Dynasmon a 3 Evo cost. So with a memory fixer on field, you get to still keep it on your turn. That is so awesome. Wizardmon, super, super cool. I have seen a little bit of talk of Mistymon here, although the new way to play yellow isn't really doing DP minus. I know crazy, it's super, like, completely different, but you're not able to really use that in combination as easily anymore. So I wouldn't really use the Mistymon in that combination, but the Wizardmon and Tapirmon both are really, really fire. Also, new Pulsemon gives out jamming, because you can put yourself down to 3 security pretty easily in this deck, and then jamming right there. Man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many games I lost because I swung my Lord Nightmon in first security check with something like an Omnimon or just whatever. I lost way too many games, and having jamming now in yellow is really, really cool. So that's going to be our 3rd deck on the list. Sadly, green just doesn't have anything really new. Now, it does have its hybrids, which is cool. So that alone is just awesome, just having hybrids in green now finally. Awesome. I mean, like, literally, if you got rid of everything else that green got, that is still a great include for sure, just being able to have its hybrids finally. All right, next we're gonna sort of move on to black. However, it's not a pure black deck. You probably know what I'm going for here. It's Musketeers time. 3 Musketeers joining the fray. Man, this is awesome. First up, we got Gundramon here. He's a blocker. Okay, level 6 blocker. When Digivolving, though, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. You may use an option card with a memory cost of 7 among them without paying its memory cost. Dang. Okay, so you get to reveal a whole bunch of cards, 5 cards. That's a pretty good solid chance of hitting a 7 cost option, because this deck is full of 7 cost options. So we've got red, black, and purple all with these 7 cost options that we get to play that go great in this deck. And then you trash the remaining cards, which is pretty brutal, but it's going to come back to make sense in a bit while we trash instead of putting them to the bottom. And if an option card was not used with this effect, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less. Awesome. So a little bit of added insurance if you completely whiff, which does happen, and then you just get a pop, just kind of, whatever rookie you want, or a few level 4s in the game. So yeah, Gundramon's, that's pretty cool. All right, so that's our first of our Musketeers. We're going to go back up to red here, and we're going to look at Magna Kidmon. So he's got security attack +1, and then when Digivolving, you may use an option card with a memory cost of 7 in your hand without paying its memory cost. So again, we're seeing that recurrence of all these 7 cost options that we get to play for free. So you may feel like, why is this person playing so many options of all 7 costs? That's because they get to play them for free in this deck over and over and over. If you did not use an option card with this effect, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 DP or less. So again, kind of just like the Gundramon that we saw, we got to just delete a rookie or a few of the level 4s in the game that will qualify for this. So pretty awesome. 4 Evo cost is a little much, but when you get to just play free options, and we'll look at the options briefly, they are very, very powerful stuff. Now, what's kind of really cool about these guys is you think, well, I don't want to play, these a red and a black that's got to Digivolve to get their effects. Well, it's completely fine, because you're going to be playing cards like this guy that they're treated as both black and red. So there is one for black, and there is also one for red as well here. So yeah, you get to just play these guys, and then they double as red and black, so it doesn't matter which one you have on field. Also, they both Digivolve onto red and black, so your level 4s is going to be Deputymon. So he's like your starter, basically. So you hard play this guy for 5, and then on play reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon with 3 Musketeers in its type, or and or one option card with a memory cost of 7 to your hand, and then trash the remaining cards. So if you've got multiple options in there, right, you just pick the one option that you want and then trash the other options. Your turn, this Digimon can devolve into a Digimon card with 3 Musketeers in its type from among your hand for a memory cost of 6, ignoring the Digivolution requirements. So you can actually warp Digivolve and completely skip over these level 5s here if you want, and go straight into your Musketeers. Now, what's really cool is, it's 3 Musketeers, right? And we already kind of talked about her a little bit, but BL Starmon, and she is awesome. So you're thinking, okay, well, what? I don't have a purple level 5 in this deck, right? It was all about red and black. That's because it's all about on play with her. You're thinking 12 play cost? That's absurd. However, when playing this card from your hand, reduce its play cost by 1 for each 3 Musketeers Digimon card from option card with a memory cost of 7 in your trash. So you just get to reduce it by an absurd amount. So all those cards we were trashing on those Evos that we were doing earlier, well, now it all makes sense, because the reason you trash so much is because you're reducing the cost of your BL Starmon later on. So you can make her, and I've literally, every game I've watched, people are, by the end of it, they're playing BL Starmon for free. A free level 6 on play 11,000 DP with this effect. On play, return 1 option card with a memory cost of 7 from your trash to your hand. Then use 1 option card with a memory cost of 7 in your hand without paying its memory cost. So you get to add any level or any 7 cost option from your trash, because we've been milling a crap ton throughout this game. Add it to your hand and then immediately play it for free. Or if you have another one in your hand that you'd rather play that one. Just play a free level or a 7 cost option. So let's take a look at these 7 cost options right quick that go with this. First, we've got Gundramons, and all of them have the added effect that if you have a Digimon with 3 Musketeers in its type, you may use this option card ignoring its color requirements. So all 3 options that we're going to look at all have that. So it doesn't matter what color you have on field, you can still use these guys. So Gundramons here is delete all Digimon, not all Digimon, including yours, with a play cost of 7 or lower. So you got to be kind of careful with this one because it can hurt yourself, but still, that's really, really powerful. Just a full field nuke. Again, you're playing these cards for free. Now let's look at Reds here. Delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. So if they've got multiples that are all different names with all identical DPs, delete them all. Or if they've got multiples with the same name, of course they're gonna, or the same card, they're gonna have identical DPs. So this one's usually used a little bit less in quantities. I think usually about 2, but still very, very powerful. And then we're going to look at purples here, which is delete one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon. So just a mega, nuke, essentially. So 7 cost, Gaia Force, basically, is what this guy is. And then the last new deck that I want to talk about is Titamon. Now, Titamon just has received very little coverage, honestly. And which is crazy to think, because he's actually there for a while, was really prominent in the Japanese meta, but no one's really paying him much attention right now, which is kind of strange, because like I said, he dominated for a good bit there. When digivolving, trash 1 card from your hand, then you may play 1 purple level 4 or lower Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. So what a lot of people are doing is playing this guy right here, who's a level 4 with Rush. So you get to play him with Rush. Also, he has an on-play effect that may or may not come up if you want to run him. He basically allows you to put this guy, if he's in your trash, underneath, to just give you this inheritable, which you will absolutely be running this guy in this deck, because the inheritable is your turn once per turn. When you trash a card from your hand with your own effect, which is what Titamon does, gain 1 memory. So you play this guy to reduce your Titamon Evo down to a 3 cost. So his effect basically is going to what triggers this. Kind of like what Dukemon was doing, or Chaos Gallantmon. he was, you know, you would delete the Gilmon to gain the 1 memory back, so that 4 Evo cost was actually really a 3 Evo cost. But what's nice about Titamon is he, like, kind of has that effect all included. You do need a little bit of setup, but it's all just in his Evo line rather than needing a whole nother body on field, which often really hurt Chaos Gallantmon, because you always needed that Gilmon somehow on field. So Titamon just having it included, just doing it all on his own is really nice, as long as you have that inheritable. But his other effect, your turn, once per turn, when you trash a card in your hand, what you're going to do when you Evo, with your own effect, this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP, so he's a 14,000 DP level 6, and gains security attack plus 1. Now, again, this is mostly when he digivolves. However, as long as you keep triggering that effect, you keep getting this buff back. That's important. Most of the time when we see stuff like this, it's like a one-turn, one-shot thing. It's nice that he triggers his own, like, buff, you know, for the turn you bring him out. That's important. But also just really nice that he can just turn after turn continuously get this buff back through, because Purple loves to discard anyways through its own effects. So great card for Purple, doing some really, really neat things for sure. It's just more of an aggro-focused Purple deck, so less controlling, just like straight, you know, we're here, we're kind of like Red. We got some security attack going on, we got some rush going on that we get to play for free. You know, it's doing what it's done before, but a little bit differently, and just, I would say, more efficiently. So it's kind of like how Anubismon would give things rush. Well, this guy's just, his main focus is to bring this guy back every time he Evos. We got stuff like Ogremon, trash 1 card in your hand, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Dang, so you get to play this guy for free with a Titamon, and, you know, you're popping things on the field. That's just really good. Level 4 or lower. So if your opponent has that blocker that's in the way, you know, bring back your Ogremon with Titamon to pop that blocker. Now you get to just swing for face. So just see how, like, the deck, they were really smart about it. They came out with all these cards at the same time that work with him. So even though they're not necessarily related to Titamon, they work incredibly well with Titamon. And then this is just another one here, a level 4 that could also be used if you want. I've seen it, yes and no, used, but it's just another way to trash a card in your hand reliably. Unlike a lot of what we had when Purple before, it was after something got deleted, you know, like Gabumon or Demi-Marimon, that it had to get deleted for you to be able to draw, discard. Now we're getting stuff that's, you know, you get to just don't need to delete your own things to get those draws and discards. So now, granted, keep in mind, these are just discard effects. These aren't, there's no drawing in these effects. So you got to make sure you balance out enough draw power with all this discarding that you're doing, which Purple has tons of drawing anyway, so you should hopefully be good. But that's going to do it. That's just my top 5 that I think are going to be really exciting to play this format, that are all brand new that we haven't seen before, okay? Now, I'm going to do a full meta tier list to see where these decks fall on the meta, or in the meta. Some of them are going to be really high. Some of them are going to be average, okay? Now, most of them, which is really nice, is most of these decks are all very good. So it's really neat that we can just get people that can just jump into this set for the very first time and instantly be able to compete in the meta with just the cards contained in this booster pack. That's really cool to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would, please like the video and subscribe. Just a little bit of help goes a super long ways. It helps the channel out tremendously, gets my videos out there, gets them seen. And if you really, really want to support the channel, check out the links in the description below. I'll have a link for my Patreon, which is displayed right here. You can get access to my Discord server that I have, as well as you can get the memory markers that we've had. These are just a few of my favorites from the past that we've had. The current one, Impmon's baby, as well as Gabumon's baby as well, Sunomon and Yaomon. These guys are super adorable. I definitely love them so much. And every month a new one changes out, so make sure you check that out. As well as we have our new playmats. This is why I recreated this video. It's because our playmats are here finally, and they are super cool. I alternate between the black and white every single month for whoever wants to support this tier, as well as I have a tier just higher than that, so that way you don't also have to lose out on a memory marker. You can get both the memory marker and the playmat just in case you want both. super awesome support from everyone that has supported in the past and who will support in the future. You guys are awesome. Also, if you want to check out my merch, my Teespring link is in the description below for that. We've got, you know, the shirts that I wear on the channel that has the logo across. I love when I see people representing my merch in public. It is like one of the coolest feelings I've ever had in my entire life. Very, very awesome. As well as phone cases for you people that love Digimon like so much like I do. A friend of mine custom made all these to fit these specific phone cases themselves. So the prices are a little bit higher just because I have to pay her back, as well as make a little tiny bit of profit because of how much, unfortunately, they take for their cut for Teespring. But like I said, if you can't do any of that, please just like the video and subscribe to the channel. Every time we hit a new mile marker for subscriptions, I give out free merch of all different types. 2000K, I think we're doing one of the playmat giveaways. So definitely be subscribed and ready for when that comes.